Hi, this is Melanie White again with my home group real estate, week 2 of my commitment to do episodes weekly. So if you are just seeing this now, thank you for the rewatch. So my goal through this is that you can find something and get some value out of these little videos. Kind of with my purpose of these and my purpose of my work is to live where you love and love where you live. And so part of that is loving our physical space of where we live and also loving our physical body and loving the city or state, country that we live in too. So my intent is to bring value to all those things so that we can all love where we live even more. So, I'm nervous. These things make me nervous. And last week I didn't even end up rewatching it because I felt like if I did, I might not want to do this again. So I didn't rewatch it. I don't remember all that I said because I was just going off the cuff. But I appreciate too all the support that everyone showed for last week's video. I did that Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just do it so that I wouldn't hesitate too much and not do it. So anyway, this week what I'm talking about is clutter and decluttering. And this has come up several times in the last month, and usually when it's this reoccurring thing, it's something that I feel like I need to take notice of. So like it first came up about a month ago when I got a podcast, and I've always kind of been into my environment anyway, but I received this podcast and she was saying how it was Denise Lynn actually, and she said how everything we're surrounded with has energy, and do we want that energy to uplift us or detract from us, and to go around and to take stock of what we're being surrounded with. And then actually last week another gal from high school, believe it or not, all these high school people coming up with these Facebook Lives that have been really inspiring. But Hillary Kuntz, which I don't even know if that's her name. It was in high school. But she was saying, again, how everything that we're surrounded with is energy, and is it uplifting us or detracting from us? And so, again, it came up twice. And just recently, Jace and I, hey Kyle, just recently, Jace and I switched rooms, and my office and his room, actually. I sometimes like to mix up my house. It's kind of my creative outlet. This was my latest and greatest idea, and Jace gracefully went along with it. But as we were switching rooms, his room and my office were probably the two most cluttered rooms of the house. And what I found was that it was really stressful moving all of Jace's stuff because he had too much stuff, and so much stuff that he probably didn't even realize he had anymore. And then as I was moving my filing cabinets up, I realized I had stuff that, even though it was kind of somewhat organized, why would I need these business cards or these flashcards that I hadn't ever used, or maybe did use, but 5+ years ago? So anyway, it made me just clear out my drawers and get rid of those things that I no longer needed. So that's one thing is, I guess I'm curious with anyone who has dealt with clutter and cleared clutter. Have you had success with it? Has it changed your life in any way by clearing clutter? And if so, I'm curious to hear kind of how. And anyway, so we switched rooms, cleared some clutter. Then when I was in church on Sunday, another thing that came up was to have focus, and the thing that detracts from focus is clutter. And I tend to be a little bit unfocused, I think, given our day and age and all the different distractions we have with social media. I can be easily distracted, and clutter, I know, just adds to that. So again, declutter and things like that. So then I was teaching a lesson to my kids for our family home evening, and it was partly on, again, clutter, but not only physical clutter, but emotional clutter. And so this lesson that I was teaching was about how maybe the emotional clutter of our past, things that we're hanging on to that we no longer need, like past regrets or mistakes or unfinished projects or things like that. And can we let go of those? The other interesting thing was I found this old journal and I decided to burn it. And I'm curious your guys' thoughts on journals. Some schools of thought I've heard to keep them and some just to get rid of them. And I was just actually curious, so I Googled it, and one person, she said, well, what was your intent originally for the journal? And depending on your intent, it makes sense to either get rid of them or save them. And one of the intents I actually thought was interesting was if you wanted to write to your future self, which I have not really ever done in my journaling. I didn't think to necessarily write to my future self, but that's one that I might add. And anyway, I'm curious if you guys ever have kept journals to write to your future self. My journaling was mostly just to kind of either document what was going on in my life or to just get my feelings out on paper, which everyone said seemed good. At that point, feelings out on paper, some of them are long gone, and I just decided to burn it. So anyway, I'm curious, any thoughts on keeping journals or getting rid of them? Anyway, I think, I tend to get a little scattered. I never think I have stuff to say, and then all of a sudden I have so much to say that sometimes I need to get organized in the way I say it. But anyway, my goal is in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because we have our community garage sale in a couple weeks, is to declutter the house and then declutter the garage after the garage sale. I'm committing to that. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm curious if you guys have any commitments on decluttering, whether it be physical or emotional declutter. And I think that's about it. Thank you for anyone watching. I do again hope that you found some value in this, and I'm curious all the feedback. If you have any input, I oftentimes learn and grow from what you guys have to say. So I welcome that too. Bye.